Hey everybody, John Foss. I'm talking with Ben Hansen. He is the star of the new show UFO Witness, which airs right now on Discovery Plus. Check it out. He's a former federal agent and paranormal investigator. And Ben, thanks so much for being with us, and tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, primarily I worked in law enforcement. My degree was in like criminology, sociology, and I worked in that for several years before. A lot of people say, "Well, how did you get into, the paranormal and UFOs?" That's always been a passion of mine, right? I just got lucky enough that I was able to do it and, make a living off.
In the show that I saw, you mentioned at the beginning of the show that you actually had an experience, a paranormal experience. Tell us about that experience.
Well, so since I was a kid, I was always into the subject. I loved clipping out newspaper clippings on UFOs and things, but I never actually thought that I would see something. And it wasn't until I was in college and I was on a Caribbean cruise, and we were looking at the stars one night coming back from the Bahamas, actually. And in the sky was an object that looked like the size of a satellite. And all of a sudden the thing starts doing S turns, like stopping and moving again. And, it really did change my life for several days. And then I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I've always had an open mind and believed. So where does it go from here? And most people, you experience like that and like nothing else. But with me, it kind of built over time into a more firm passion. And here I am doing what I'm doing.
My favorite part of the episode that I saw was the interview that you did with Kevin Day, and it's actually a Navy video where we see a UFO on the screen, and the Pentagon recently came out and said that it was a legit video, that it's real, and they confirmed it, which definitely changed the whole UFO conversation from anybody that talks about it as conspiracy, that is involved in conspiracy theories, to no, this is real, this is legit. The government has now confirmed it, they've said it's real. And you talked with Kevin. It was a very intense conversation. Tell us about that conversation.
Actually, talking to military members, because, the public kind of places a lot of credibility on what they call professional observers, right? And whatever that term actually means. Here you have a radar operator who is in charge of identifying what things should be considered a threat or not when you're conducting war games or an actual war. So here he is being able to tell the public finally, hey, we didn't know what these objects were, and they keep reappearing over and over. And if you think about the impact of that statement, that we have no control over our airspace and during war games and even during war, and you engage and try to chase these things and they just keep disappearing. I mean, that is the import of his interview. And for him to come out knowing that he probably would take some flack for it, he wasn't talking on official terms. I love this case, and I love that the Nimitz video has been kind of one of those things that instigates the public awareness finally.
So the first part of this next question is, why did the government cover this up for so long, and where do we go from here? Are they just going to expose everything? Are they going to give all of the information out that they've been covering up over the years? And also, over the past few years, we've had some WikiLeaks dumps that have contained some UFO information.
Yeah,
did we learn anything there? And again, why was this all covered up?
It's so hard to tell. So when I had and I've had actually 3 sightings of what I believe were unidentified, non-conventional craft. I'm certain of that, but what I can't say is who's flying them, right? I haven't had the experience of talking to or communicating with the occupants. I can say that because I've done this a long time, many people believe there's several different races. And a lot of them look like you and I, right? Look, for all intents and purposes, human. Other people believe that this is where we get into, the reptilians and things. And I don't know about that. I really don't know. But I can tell you, I've heard some pretty extraordinary stories where initially I would just dismiss it as sci-fi. But when you really start talking to the people and you believe them, because I believe I'm a pretty good judge of character in interviews, if you believe their story and they're not making it up, then there's got to be something to it. So some people just really have a problem with what do they look like. They're okay with life in other worlds, but what do they look like? If they're green, if they're this, if they're that, if they're like Star Trek, then I don't believe. And I think you kind of have to have an open mind.
So when we talk about aliens, are we talking about little green guys that we see, you know, in the sci-fi movies, or is it something totally different from your experience? You're an expert. When we talk about an alien, what are we looking at?
So in the UFO, I guess you could call it a community or the disclosure. A lot of people believe that there is going to be one day, and that the president or whoever is going to come down and say, "This is what we know. We're sorry we lied to you." Other people, I'm kind of in the camp that it's going to come drip by drip. You know, think about it. If you were a child and your parent has been telling you lies your whole life, and maybe thinking that they're protecting you, but one day they just dropped a big bomb on you, do you think you're going to really respect that parent? And the thinking has gone back to the 50s when they actually made policy. They did studies, they made policies about this. If we had knowledge, what would we do to tell the people? And the conclusion was, we can't. The society would collapse, institutions like religion, and maybe they're wrong about that, but it's so hard to tell that I don't think we have enough leverage, to be honest. The government has everything to gain, or sorry, nothing to gain, but everything to lose by telling.
Okay, so last question. Is the public in danger? What do you think about all of this information that's coming out? Should we be concerned?
I don't know that we're necessarily in danger, like we're going to be attacked. I mean, they probably would have already done that, maybe. I mean, if we were in danger physically, but we have had these engagements with military intrusions and things that do pose a danger, and being able to control our nuclear weapons, for example, and the incidents that have happened. So it does need to be addressed. It is a national security concern. We're just gonna have to wait and see, because whoever they are, I think they hold all the cards.
All right. Well, Ben Hansen, thanks so much for being with us. And Twin Cities, make sure you check out UFO Witness. It's available right now on Discovery Plus. I've seen one episode. It's really good. I can't wait to see the rest. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, John.